Willie D. Live.
You grew up in a lily white environment. How do you meet this beautiful black girl named Teresa and y'all form a relationship and you end up married and all that kind of stuff?
All right, let's come back to that one.
Yeah.
So I didn't have this concept of race the way that people do that come from an area with multiple races and racial tension and prejudice and all this stuff. So, and growing up with my background, I know from growing up and from the way I am and from the way all my friends are too, though, all of them. I understand that this whole racial thing is a learned thing. You're not born with this. This is a learned, culturally ingrained behavior. And if you don't have that culture, then you didn't learn it and it's not in your system. The whole way you see things is different. And so I didn't even really think about it as a thing until I went in the military. And when I was in the military, I was in with all kinds of people and everybody got along. It was fine. And I really didn't hit any absolute display of racism in the military until I went to this unit and I really, really, really got into it with a captain over some stuff. And I won't go into details on what it was, but I had something on him. And so he couldn't, normally they'll just snare you with stuff and then put you in the legal system and all that. And he couldn't do that because I had something on him. And we were button heads bad. And so what happened was he had to figure out a way to go around the system and try to get me. So what he did was he put me in charge of a commo unit, which is a unit, a military unit that does communications.
He tried to set you up for failure.
Oh, well, he set me up all right. This was a commo unit that had 100% black guys in it. And that was absolutely against regulations or anything because that was straight up all sorts of different equal opportunity violations. And I mean, they can't do that. They can't segregate at that period of time. They used to segregate. The military was segregated. But at that point in time, that segregation had been lifted long before then. And this was 100%. And what they had been doing was any black people that stood up for themselves, they put them in that unit.
This is early 80s?
No, this was 70s.
70s.
Yeah. This was mid 70s, 77, 78.
Yeah.
So would they put these guys in there, all the rough ones, the ones they didn't want to deal with in their regular unit that were causing trouble, but really they were just sticking up for their rights, but they were identified as troublemakers and causing, so they put them in that unit, in this battalion. So what they did was they went and put me, and I was just 18 at the time, over that unit. And they know full well these guys are, oh, this little white punk, they're
gonna run over.
They're gonna murder me, really.
Yeah.
We're gonna be out on detail. So he's figuring, I'll fix him, I'll get him knocked off. And the first day I went in there and called muster and had a meeting, they told me, oh, you're done. We're gonna kill you. They flat out said it. And so...
now, just for clarity, when you say we're going to kill you, they mean figuratively, not literally. Just
No, they mean literally.
Oh, they was talking about literally.
Oh, yeah.
I had to be clear because I know they do kill. I do know that.
How that works is you go out on maneuvers.
In the military.
You go out on maneuvers and then you have an accident.
Yeah, right.
So they're not going to, it's just shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured out who was the main ringleader, and I got him, and I said, okay, we need to talk, and you need to understand what's happening here, because this isn't something that I did. And so I explained the situation. I said, that's exactly the response that they wanted. They set me up for this. I said, but the fact that you guys are all here like this, I said, there's something you can do about it. And here's what you can do. And there's all these different military regulations. If you go to the judge advocate's office, is what it's called, and you have access to a military legal library. And so I said, I'm going to take you up there to they didn't even know what that was, up to the military legal library, and I'm going to show you this stuff so you can see what they're doing here. And they said, well, nothing's ever going to be done about it, and why should we trust you, and all this other stuff. And so I'm like, okay, so what's the downside? What if, let's say I'm wrong, then just freaking kill me later then. What's the downside?
Right.
And a couple of the other guys will, actually, this might work. We know a little bit something about that. And it kind of sounds like he's right. And maybe you should just go check it out. And so end story is that I became best friends with these guys. And we clicked perfectly. And we ended up, there's a way you can go around the command and then go directly and do these complaints to your senator. And then it invokes this, I forgot what it's called, this process, though, where they can't just ignore it.
Oh, man, I know they hate that.
They hated it.
That's equivalent to a citizen circumventing the police department, right, and going straight to the media.
Yeah. So we did that, and we ended up getting the captain that was responsible for that stuff, and there was a major and some other people up the command, and we got a couple of them totally shit canned, and one of them got court-martialed, and those guys got to move to different units, and I was there for a year with them, and but that was interesting. So I'd been through that before, and these guys were absolutely hardcore, and so by the time I got to meet James and Rappel Adams, first of all, Ghetto Boys themselves, at that point, I mean, nicest guys on the planet. I mean, you're talking about just Ready Red. I mean, what? Ready Red's a big teddy bear. He's
yep.
Really a nice guy.
Yep.
And Johnny C and Raheem, I mean, just Jukebox, all of them. And so I could recognize that because I don't have that garbage in my head, clouding my head. So I look at people as people. Mm-hmm. So you can have screwed up, any kind of race can be totally screwed.